And this is the way that I believe the Sunday tomato sauce is done best, and I hope everybody enjoys it. And check the link at the bottom of the video to see my recipe for it. Okay, everybody, this list is absolutely ginormous. I'm not going to read the entire list of ingredients. I'm going to post every single one of them below and my measurements. And again, I don't actually physically measure anything. A lot of it is by intuition, but I'm going to post all the ingredients below. Don't worry. Okay, so our first step is to grind up our onion, garlic, onion, celery, and carrot concoction here. So I roughly chopped it all up here, and I'm basically going to put a little bit of olive oil to try to liquefy it better. You'll see what I'm going to do here in a second. This is what we call the sofrito. The sofrito is the carrot, onion, and celery mixture. And we have our beautiful Partana olive oil that you can be generous. You don't have to, put too much, but enough to make it, liquefied or for it to be liquefied enough. Okay, so this is our Partana here. So you can see we got our Partana extra virgin olive oil. This is our consistency. Okay, so we're going to start off with our meatballs. Now, meatballs have a lot of, at least my meatballs, they have a lot of ingredients in them. They're going to have, so we're going to basically, this is the meat mixture here. We're going to start off with our garlic, and I'm crushing my garlic in here. And what I do, my rule of thumb is roughly 3 cloves of garlic for every pound of meat. That's the rule of thumb that at least that I use. And you won't go wrong.
Okay. And if you get a little bit of bigger chunks, that's okay, because remember, we're going to break this down when we roll the meatballs, which I'll show you.
Okay, so there's your 3 cloves. And honestly, you want to I'm just using all of this Pecorino Romano. Again, no rules.
Yeah, boy.
Okay. And we're going to come in with our breadcrumbs. We're going to have a nice dose of pepper and a nice dose of salt here. Okay, now we're going to chop our parsley. Now, with parsley, the stem is where all the flavor's at. So we're going to do the stem, and we're going to do the leaves on the back there. Okay, so this is our stem here. And I'm using one of these bushels as far as parsley. Now, you can be as liberal or as Well, not as stingy with your parsley. You don't want to be stingy with it. But be liberal with your parsley. Okay, and our grand finale for these meatballs are the eggs. So I'm using 2 eggs. If you're not making as many meatballs, like let's say you're making 1.5 pounds, you could just do 1 egg. But I need all the binding I can get, and my hands are admittedly wet, so that's how you want your hands when you're actually mixing up your meatballs here. And this is messy, so don't be afraid to get right in there as long as your hands are clean. As long as they're clean. Okay, and this is really how your mixture should look. It's not really like rocket science here. You basically just want to mix everything really good before you actually roll them. And I'll show you how I roll them, and then we're going to actually start the cooking process. All right, this is important. So this is us rolling our meatballs. Now, a lot of Italians that are like right off the boat from Italy or actually live in Italy will tell you to use the smaller meatballs. This is an Italian-American dish, and with this dish, when it came to the U.S., the meatballs got bigger and bigger. So don't be afraid to use meatballs that are slightly bigger. Remember, we don't want meatballs that are ginormous because there's going to be a lot of meat in here, and you don't want it to be so overwhelming. So this is really a good size for our meatball in terms of the characteristics that you're really looking for. It's definitely, like I said, a little bit of a bigger meatball because it's it really goes along with the sausage and the pork chops. You'll see how it works because this is almost a sauce to complement the pasta as opposed to the pasta to complement the sauce. And this is our meatballs. We rolled them out. And again, some could be a little bigger than others. This isn't like, rocket science. Like I said, they can be a little bit ununiform, so to speak. And that's really going to be where we start our process as far as cooking is concerned. All right, we're going to start with our olive oil. Now, you don't need that much olive oil. The reason is because the meat is going to sweat out into the pan, and it's going to do the job for you. Just a little touch. That's all you really need. All right, now we're ready to start our process of cooking our delicious meatballs. Now, this is kind of counterintuitive to like a bolognese sauce, because a typical bolognese sauce starts with the sofrito. We're starting with our meat and then basically sweating the meat out into the pan, and then we're going to come in with our sofrito and our garlic. You'll see how it's done. And this is our meatballs. Now, this is my trick. I use a spoon. Once they start to cook on one side, I turn it over with this spoon. And that makes it so they don't break up. It's a great trick. I suggest everybody do that. And if they break up a little bit, that's okay. You can hear my Christmas music in the back. But that's the trick. You don't want them to break up too much because remember, it's going to cook in the sauce. That's the key. Okay, our next step is to season our pork chops. Now, we got a lot of pork chops here. So I am just going to pepper shit out of this. We're just going to, as you can see here, get a nice bit of pepper on our little bit of salt and just kind of get it on all of them. Again, these are the small pork chops because, again, we have a lot going on with the sauce. So the little bone, they're great. They're great. Great to use. And this is our meatballs, ladies and gentlemen. Okay, our next step is to put our pork chops in. And we're going to let those just brown on each side. And we're going to cook all those out. All right, we're going to turn over these pork chops here. Look at all that. Look at that. You want some nice coloring. All right, and this is our pork chops here. Look at those beautiful pork chops. I'm going to show you how the hot sausage is done. Well, it's more than hot sausage. It's sweet sausage, it's Sicilian spicy sausage, and it's mild. And this is from Parma Sausage. Great, great meat place. They have a real dated history in Pittsburgh. And I could show you guys the website on the link in the description. So this is the hot sausage here. We're cooking the hot sausage, the different types of sausage at this point, and we're just browning them. And you could really kind of toss them in here. It doesn't really make too big of a difference because we're going to keep them intact. We're not going to actually cut the skin off this time. A little different from a lot of the other recipes that we do cut the skin off. We're actually going to keep them intact this time. Okay, our first step is to pound out our meat. So we want to get it nice and thin. And this is our Braciole steak, basically a flank steak. We got 2 of these. Okay, we're going to get our salt and pepper. Salt and pepper. Okay, we're going to crush up our garlic. Okay, and then we're going to just come in with our parsley. And I didn't really chop it too fine. It's fine enough. Now we're coming in with our cheese.
Sorry ass DJ.
You can get some.
And this is your Braciole. This is what it's going to look like. Try to wrap it as tight as you can, but you got your butcher's twine, and that's important. I suggest butcher's twine for everybody. The butcher's twine is where you want to go. And in we go with the Braciole steak. We're just going to brown both sides, you'll see. And these are Braciole steaks here. They're ginormous. They're ginormous. We're just browning both sides. Remember, they cook in the sauce. And this is an important thing. You always want to cook the Braciole steaks towards the end because you want the steaks to be tender. You don't want them to be like shoe leather. All right, our first step is to come in with our garlic. And we're crushing our garlic again. You can see we've cooked all of our meats in the same pan that we are. So you can see the pan here. We've cooked all our meats in that same pan that we're going to cook our sauce. All right, now we're coming in with our sofrito. All right, now we're ready to put our meat back in. And the order that you put the meat in, it is important. So the key is you always want the meatballs on top so they don't break up. So we're starting with our pork chops. And then we're going to go our hot sausage. And then we're going to go the Braciole. And then we're going to go the meatballs. That way we don't have any breakup. And we are good in paradise. Okay. Now we're coming in with the hot sausage. I'm just going to throw those in. And if your hands are clean, just get right in there. Okay. We're going to come in with the meatballs. And now this is a completely optional step. You could actually crush your tomatoes. I personally like the real thin viscosity of the Sunday tomato sauce because you have all the meat. So I'm actually just going to crush them up here. Okay, so now we're going to be pulsing our tomatoes. All right, guys, I have a confession to make. I did forget to put the wine. And normally you'd put wine. I already put the tomato sauce, so we can't do the wine. And that's okay. It's not the end of the end of the world, but we will, you know, say that if you do wine, like 1/4 of a cup usually. We are, however, coming in with some parsley. And we're not doing the fresh basil until later. But we are coming in with the fresh parsley, and we are coming in with some salt and pepper. All right, we're doing this low and slow. This is going to take 4 hours. And I know it takes a, you're saying, oh my God, 4 hours. This is basically an American bolognese sauce. Yeah. All right, at this point, everybody, we're going to ladle our hot sausage, meatballs, and sauce into our pan because we're going to mix it with our pasta. You'll see the meld of the pasta and the sauce here. Okay, now we're going to mix our pasta up. And in goes our pasta here. right, this is the pasta for two. Look at that. Hot sausage, braciole, meatballs.